M0FXB, welcome to my channel. So I had some questions the other day about which radio to choose, and we're talking about older Shack in the Box style radios, and maybe a couple of other ones. So for example, you've got the YAESU FT991 here, Shack in the Box, works great. And if you want the 991 model that doesn't include the sort of live scope, it still works very good. I think I'd recommend you go for the 991A. The scope is as I said, live. I think they've made some improvements to the transmit side of it. I still think it's a good radio, and you can pick these up for about 650 to 700 pound second hand, and it is a Shack in the Box VHF, UHF, SSB, 6 meters. So I think overall, I think it's a good buy, basically. Go back to the old-fashioned ICOM 706. Now, these have been around, forever. It feels like forever. And they do work well, a very portable radio. And there aren't actually many radios that are like it. I would say the most similar radio to it is the YAESU FT57. So let's have a look at the YAESU FT57 here. Now, that when it came out, was a beautiful radio, isn't it? Nice. The VFO, it just stands out, and it's just the whole style of it stands out. And I had this for quite a while, and it worked great, very great. I mean, the problem now is that we've got this new generation of SDR and waterfall screen radios, and which is maybe it's pushed the price up. It's hard to say. When this came out, I'd say maybe even 20 years ago, I bought one for nearly £900. Well, if you think today's money, I think that would be about £1,200. And if you look at things like the ICOM 705, these are selling, what, £1,300? Yes, I agree that this radio doesn't have 100 watts, 50 watts, but it has D-Star built into it, GPS, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. You didn't have any of that in the 857. So for me, I will always say that the ICOM 705 feels to me like the best radio I've ever used, because it literally does everything, and it's just amazing to use. And obviously you've got the touchscreen technology, and the portability of the fact that it's got a battery which will fit into your handheld, your ICOM 51, and these accessories. So this is definitely my favourite radio, although I use them all. So 991, and then you can think about the FTDX10, but that's not really a Shack in the Box. That is a HF 6 meter radio. Does it have 4 meters? I can't remember now. Is it going to show it here? If I scroll up, I know that 7300 has 4 meters. One of the big pluses to why a lot of people have switched to the FTDX10 from the FT, let's have a look, 7300 we've got here somewhere. Let's find that. We had that up. Ah, there it is there. 7300 is because you can add a cable into the back of the DX10, and you can get the screen up, get it up on your big television, which does look very smart. But for me, the 7300 is best value 100 watt built-in tuner HF 6 meter radio, and it does have 4 meters, and just the way the radio works is just, it could sit in your shack forever, and you'd not have any problems with it. And you can change the firmware. And they've got they've got the latest firmware now. I can't see much being changed on it, and it just works well with all your digital modes. So we go back to the 706. When you still pick these up now for about £400 second hand. And I think for what you get, VHF, UHF, HF 6 meter, especially with the G model. Mark II G is what you'd be looking for to get everything. Now this is just the Mark II. So I would say the Mark II, this particular brochure, let's have a look. Now this is the 70 centimeter one. So this is the G model. And put it in your car, put it in your shack, it's going to work well. Yeah, these old, is it MC60 microphone? So a lot of these floating around. I think if you've only got about £400 to spend, you're actually getting a lot for your money. Same goes for the 857. You get a lot for your money. They've got some nice filtering built into these, but very solid radio. So yeah, we talked about the 705, 991. Now the TS2000 is one made by KENWOOD, and that was a lovely performer. And the nice thing about this was it was dual receive, so you could have HF in the middle section here, and then you could have 2 meters and 70 here. I think you can actually have 2 meters and 70 in the middle as well. I think it's a full dual bander, to my memory. Built-in tuner. And if you like lots of buttons and lots of knobs to twiddle, then I've seen these go for about 650 now. I would say you pay a bit more than that to get a nicer, and more like about 750. But you know, they're just high-end radios. If you get the X version, you're going to pay more. The 23 centimeter version, you're going to pay more, about 900, I would say. But if you're lucky, someone might decide they just want to sell it. There's the, is it MC60 had that. So yeah, I really liked mine, but compared to listening and using, compared to say, you know, something like the 705, I think the experience is a better quality, myself personally, with something like a 705 or a 7300. But the 7300 is not Shack in the Box, remember? So what I liked about the 991 is at least it did it sort of takes the first step into having a waterfall scope. It's not the best scope, but it's okay. The menu structure, I think I found it a bit clunky. But you go here, then you go there, then you go here. Where with the 7300, everything, you know, you tap the screen, changes the frequency. You tap the mode, it changes the mode. You tap the filter, you can change the filter, and it's just very, you know, click tuner, and the thing tunes. It does have an emergency function where it'll bypass the standard parameters of the tuner, and for antennas that really aren't created properly for the correct band, cut to length, so, which is probably a bad way to go anyway, because you're going to waste a lot of energy, RF energy, doing it that way. So FT-DX10, yeah, really, it's been a hit since it came out. I know it's got a bigger brother, is it the FT-1000 or something? But I do like the DX10, but I prefer the whole, I personally prefer the way that the ICOM screens and the ICOM interface. The DX10, I think, is a more of a hybrid radio, so there is you do get a waterfall screen and SDR technology in there. I think you've still got a super heterodyne part of the radio. So read the brochures. What I'll do, I'll put all these links in the description. Tell me what you think. It's just someone asked me the question, you know, which one do I get? And I started thinking about it, and there's new radios coming out all the time, like the XIEGU X6100. Which, yeah, I do have, and I do like it, but I do look at it as a budget option. Although it's a very portable radio, the X6100, you know, you don't need to have a microphone. There's a microphone in it and a PTT, and away you go, and it's got a built-in tuner and a very good SWR graph. So, and look at that, you can see the price here, Cinetel. I think it was showing the price anyway. It was about $550. Quite a lot of money for a budget radio. Now, it's not the kind of radio I'd want to drop. Although it looks very smart, it's great fun to use. I just feel like if you dropped it, something would break. So I look at that as a budget radio, but great fun. And the price reflects that it's a budget radio. If you think about the ICOM 705, which also, if you dropped it, would probably break actually. But when you're using it, you feel like you've got the very high-end quality product. You don't get that feeling with the X6100, but super portable, and you can buy these cages and protection for them. And I just love mine. You know, I could keep saying that. So 991. So it's it really. So let me know what you think. I bet you've all had one. If you haven't got one, I bet you've all had a TS2000. To me, one of the best radios out was the TS2000 for what it did. Quite an unusual design as well. I think every one of us had the 706. Let me know what you've got, so if you've kept these radios, if you've still got them in the cupboard, how you feel about the way that the waterfall screen SDR radios are taking over, because there's lots more to come out. I mean, I just really feel that it won't be long now before YAESU announce a QRP ICOM 705 style Shack in the Box QRP radio, unless they decide to just do what XIEGU X6100 have done, where they focus it on being a 6 meter HF QRP radio. So yeah, looking forward and excited to that. So thanks for watching my channel. 7-3. Catch you on air. All the best.